What if I told you that over 200 years ago, a scientist shocked crowds by making dead bodies twitch, kick, and even open their eyes using electricity? People in the audience thought he had discovered the secret to bringing the dead back to life. And some believed humanity was standing at the edge of defeating death itself. This is the bizarre story of Italian scientist Giovanni Aldini, the man whose experiments inspired horror stories and may have helped create the legend of Frankenstein. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Talking Tech for more strange tech stories, forgotten inventions, and the wildest moments in scientific history. The story begins in the late 1700s. At the time, electricity was still mysterious. Most people barely understood it. Some thought it was a magical force hidden inside living creatures. A scientist named Luigi Galvani discovered something shocking while experimenting on dead frogs. When electricity touched the frog's legs, the muscles suddenly twitched. The frogs appeared to move even though they were dead. Galvani believed he had discovered something called animal electricity, a hidden life force inside living beings. But his nephew, Giovanni Aldini, became obsessed with taking the idea much further. Aldini traveled across Europe, performing terrifying public demonstrations. And in 1803, he carried out the experiment that made him infamous. The subject was a recently executed criminal named George Forster. His body was taken to a lecture hall in London, where doctors, scientists, and horrified spectators gathered to watch. Then Aldini connected metal rods and electrical wires to the corpse. The moment electricity surged through the body, the dead man's jaw began to shake. One eye opened. His face twisted violently, his arms jerked, his legs kicked. Witnesses claimed that the corpse looked like it was trying to rise from the table. Some audience members panicked. Others fainted. One report even claimed a spectator died from shock after seeing the experiment. To the people watching, it looked terrifyingly close to resurrection. But Aldini wasn't trying to create zombies. He believed electricity might someday revive drowning victims or people who had just died. In a strange way, his experiments were early steps toward technologies we still use today. Modern defibrillators also rely on electricity. So while Aldini's methods looked horrifying, they helped scientists explore the connection between electricity and the human body, but the public didn't see it that way. Newspapers called the experiments grotesque and unnatural. Many feared scientists were crossing moral boundaries. And then came a young writer named Mary Shelley. In 1816, Shelley wrote the famous novel Frankenstein. Although the book never directly mentions Aldini, historians believe his public experiments strongly influenced the terrifying ideas behind Frankenstein. Imagine living in a time when electricity was barely understood. Then suddenly seeing a dead body move in front of your eyes. That would feel less like science and more like dark magic. Today, Giovanni Aldini is mostly forgotten. But his experiments became part of the strange bridge between science and horror. He showed the world that electricity could control muscles, affect life, and possibly even restart the body itself. And while he never truly brought the dead back to life, he made people believe he could. If you enjoyed this strange story, subscribe to Talking Tech for more forgotten scientists, bizarre experiments, and the history behind modern technology.